It's time to get technically funny with the legendary Sinbad and director Jay Aron.
What is going on? It is Tuesday night. We're a little late, about 15 minutes late.
Yes.
That's, technology. This is a technology show, and technology will sometimes.
And it is funny.
Yeah, well, that's your job. I'm just.
No, it's funny that technically it doesn't work. I'm trying to still get into my Facebook, and it's asking me for my login information. Nobody remembers that crap. My iPad won't remember my login information, but my phone will. My phone will, but my iPad won't.
It's night one. We're lucky we're even online and we could see each other. And right off the bat.
It's a miracle.
Huge thank you to LiveView. LiveView made this all happen because I'm sitting in my usually cold New York area. That's why it's blue. And you're 3,000 miles away in beautiful. Well, Are we allowed to disclose at an undisclosed location?
We're in beautiful LA right now. And also we made this possible because of Royce, my son. Royce, who's behind the camera right now.
And I got Andrea sitting right next to me, who's pressing buttons, monitoring the chat, and actually came up with
it's funny. We don't give them any run. we don't give them any love. They're sitting behind us and next to us, but we don't see them.
There's so much. You see, you can't see my hand. I'm just I'm being thankful with my hands that you can't see. That's what it is.
All right, man. But my hands, I want you to see my thankfulness. I want you to see my thankfulness. Those
good hands. So have to thank LiveView right off the bat. Really cool setup that we got going right now. We each have a camera where we're at, and then there's two servers.
Yep.
So there's a server that you're sending me video, and then a server that I'm sending you back video, and it's all instantaneous.
Yeah, which is crazy.
It's wild. Because
we're using these technology you're using, but we're using this technology on the iPhone, so you have no lag time when we talk. But when I see myself, it's lag like hell. So my ADHD brain is having an issue with this. But I'm going to accept it.
Well, that's what makes it fun, because it's late here on the East Coast. It's 11:20.
Yes. Not here.
No, it's early.
Not here.
It's early. If you are listening to this right now, you need to follow us. This is episode 1, brand new.
Yes.
You're probably watching on Facebook right now at Technically Funny Live. So follow it if you're watching.
Yes.
We're also live on YouTube Live, and who knows where else we'll go live. It's week 1. But
we just live, bro. We just live people.
And that's it. And then tomorrow morning, Spotify, iTunes, wherever you consume your audio podcast, that's it. It's everywhere. If I could stay up that late. I don't know. We'll see. So I want to kick it off.
I'm always up, brother.
I want you to kick it off right now because this is a show about technology.
Yes.
And how things are funny. And talk about what it was like for you coming up and, a couple years ago, back in the day, were you focused on the artistry? Were you focused on the technology? Was that even in your stream of consciousness at the time? Talk about that a little bit.
I was always a tech head, but when I came up, technology, I'm talking from the time I was in junior high school, little kid, my dad, I always had Radio Shack stuff. My dad would let me take the tubes out the TV, so I was always, a freak for that kind of stuff. So, of course, when I started doing comedy, I was always looking for technical sides to add stuff, whether it was when radios and two-way radios and cell phones and beepers and all that stuff first came in. I had a cell phone, a Mitsubishi 1500, when the battery only lasted 5 minutes. So I had 8 batteries that weighed 12 pounds in a book bag on my back, and I had that 12-pound phone, but I was ahead of the game.
I guess that's interesting. What about when you started in comedy, were you thinking about the technology? Were you thinking, I just got to do what I got to do. I got to get on stage. Today, everyone's a content creator. I remember you told me if it doesn't fit in a backpack, you don't want it. Was that in your stream of consciousness 20, 30 years ago?
Yeah, remember, I carried my own microphones. I found wireless microphones. I said, I didn't like the mics in some of the places. Then I found out about frequencies in different areas. So I had 2 different channels, channel 27, channel 28, because no city had both those channels. Legally, one channel had to be open. So I had a dual antenna system set up. So if one wireless mic shut down, boom, I flipped it off and went to the other mic. I was carrying music with me. I was carrying DAT machines with me. Dude, my first stand-up special was run with DATs and pre-MPC stuff, man.
So you were producing your own stuff at the time? You weren't just walking in and grabbing a mic and doing your thing. You were thinking technical all the way back from the beginning.
Well, technical was always part of it because you always got to have technology. Comics, entertainers get mad at the whoever's operating the mics or get mad. Sound man, you messed up, but really your mouth was too close to the mic. You got feedback or you walked up on the monitors. So I was always thinking about technology at the same time as I'm on stage. With ADHD, sometimes I might be on stage doing comedy and I'll see a sound system going like, ooh, that's nice. I got to get one of those.
And that's what I think is interesting about this podcast, because the reason I came to you and said, hey, let's do this is I think that there's this really cool intersection that a lot of people don't think about, because there are some super creative people out there who have great ideas and they just don't know how to execute them. And that's kind of the difference.
Yeah.
That's sort of the different space where somebody who knows the technology can kind of get into all this. And
nobody, you know what the main thing is? You don't want people to be able to lie to you and tell you it can't be done. That's what pissed me off. I hate when someone tell me that can't be done. I said, dude, I know it can be done because I've studied it. That made me realize I need to know all of this. But this is the problem when you're left and right brain. Sometimes the creative side, being a comic, being a musician, if you spend too much time with technology, you quit creating. Because, is there a new processor out? Ooh, is there a faster computer out? Ooh, are there some new knobs on this amp? I think sometimes when you have less technology or less money to pursue the technology, you get more done.
And, of course, we were at NAB a few months ago, and that's kind of the mecca, because they shove technology down your throat. And
yes.
I think the vast majority of those people are not creatives at all. And sometimes products come out and you go, you know what? This doesn't really make sense for the field. Whoever's designing this is not really thinking about who's using it.
Because sometimes they think they're cool, but they're not. I hate to say that. I'm not trying to dog my creative people, but sometimes you're just not cool. The best marriage was when Apple and people like this started going to Hollywood and introduced technology, but then they had to teach Hollywood, I know you want this, but what you want is so far beyond what can happen now, so I hope you give me some credit for it if I find a way to do it. The first example of that, I was at a Quick Take movie festival. Remember, QuickTime movie festival. That's when Apple had QuickTime, and I was at this first movie festival, and they were the worst little 6-minute, 20, 30 second, because it was all made by technical people. And they were all cheering because they look at the technology like this. See how he blended those colors? I said, and they had me speak. I said, no one's going to watch that crap. You've got to get that crap into the hands of the people who do creative stuff. And the perfect marriage is tech people with creative people, and then some beautiful stuff happens. It's like guys who make guitar pedals for Jimi Hendrix, because Jimmy was like, hey man, I need to get this sound. And the guy said, I can do this. And they go, oh wow. And then that's a beautiful thing. And then you got to have equal respect for one another.
It's funny because we met not at NAB last year, and we walked the floor, and we were in a really interesting space up there because we were able to see a lot of the guys that I think are creating in the space where it's, you know what, I see a problem, and I want to solve that problem by making it better, making it different, making it more simple. And those are always the smaller companies. I think what you're talking about is a lot with the big companies. The bigger Sony has made products, and you're like, there's no way that a filmmaker touched this ever at any point. The buttons are in the wrong place.
Or it's too expensive.
Yeah,
most of the time it's just too expensive.
You look at the Canon C700 came out, right? This $20,000 camera, and it was like, this doesn't fit in the right space for anybody.
It didn't. It's not expensive enough for the big studios, and it's too expensive. You know what you got to do now if you're a big company? Remember, it used to be called consumer and professional. Consumer and professional. Now then it became prosumer. It's a consumer that was a pro. Well, everybody is a professional now. Even the kid in junior high. You have to treat them all as professionals, but you have to treat them as broke professionals. Black Magic is genius at it. Black Magic, I sing their praises all the time. They created a path. The Red camera came out, it was supposed to be that path, but by the time you bought all the accessories for it, you might as well bought something else.
That camera, when it came out, I think it was $3,000 for the body.
Yes.
And it was unusable.
Yes.
You needed another like $30,000 of accessories. And by the way, it hasn't changed. I mean, their cameras today, they kind of fall in line with the Alexa. Like, you know, if you price compare them, they're basically the same.
Yes.
But, you know, a plate's like $2,000 for a piece of machined metal.
It's crazy. It's crazy. But Blackmagic has found a way to make a price point that works. They have software. They have I just love that company.
Are you?
You know, I know you got people always like my son. My son's a Blackmagic guy. I'm a Blackmagic guy. I always say like this: you want as many people as possible to be able to use your stuff and be creative. You want as many people as possible to be out there creating stuff, man.
Well, that's what's wild. I mean, there's switchers. You can buy their entry-level switcher for $1,000, 8 inputs, graphics channels.
Yes.
And you're doing a live show,
Yes.
$1,000. Are you on the Pocket Cinema camera right now?
Yeah. No, I'm in the Pocket right now. Yes, we're in the Pocket. Pocket 4K right now.
I told Royce last night. I saw it at NAB, and you know you play with it whenever it's out. But yesterday I had my first opportunity.
Yep.
One of the DPs I work with, shout out John Fuentes, came into work with that camera and handed it to me. Just handed it to me. He had a little cage on it with a handle, and I played with it for the first time. The display on it is crazy. It's gorgeous.
Dude, it's everything. It's everything.
Settings.
It's everything.
Any setting, I mean, goes up to 4K, shoots RAW, shoots ProRes. It's like this camera's wild, and it costs less than $2,000.
Dude, let me put it this way. The cost point's so good, we have 2 of them. And we had 2 of the first ones. Man, I'm a pimp for this stuff. And I said, whatever I gotta do to get this camera for my son. And we said, look, we gotta get 2 of them, because you can't just have one, because one might go out, or you might need to have a couple of different shots. So we have 2 of them, man.
When did it change? When was, you know, obviously with you, when your career, you know, you started getting really big. I mean, when was that? When was that for you? When did you go, all right, I'm doing this. It's, you know, it's real now. I could forget about sort of the technology, because, you know, I'm doing stand-up specials, and I'm in movies. I'm going to focus on that right now. When was that for you?
My problem was I never spoke of technology. Even when I was making movies, I said, how can I shoot my own movies? And that's when the Canon High 8 camera came out. Remember, the High 8 was the changeover. And I gave that to my son. He was about 4 or 5 years old. He started shooting movies with the High 8 camera, man. So he was able to get his hands on something at a young age, and make some great stuff, make some good quality stuff, man.
So when do you think was the big changeover in the industry, when this kind of became affordable to anybody, where anybody decided, I have content, I want to put it out there? What product or what time period, when was that?
That was the High 8 camera. Then the Canon came out with their camera, and Nikon had their beginning camera. I forget which Canon it was. Remember, you only could shoot for 30 seconds or 60 seconds before it would shut down. 5D. Or you could shoot for 3 or was it 5? Yeah, the 5. You remember what 5 minutes you film and it would stop?
I think
because it wasn't made to be a film camera. It was made
4 minutes. 4 minutes.
4 minutes.
I think the progression was 4 minutes, then 12 minutes, then 30 minutes. That was.
And then books came out. How does it go from 30 frames a second to 24? How to go from 24 to 30? And people started thinking about that. And then it was like, and it was so much you had to remember. You had to, okay, that 2497, 2997 is, you can interact with it. How do you make that become 30 frames a second? I said, you know what? Just shoot. See, people, you can get overcomplicated with the technology, but just shoot, and it'll take care of itself. You'll get better. Or you'll start shooting up stuff you don't have to shoot. You'll find a director. You'll find people to work with you, and it did what it was supposed to do. It got you in the game. And that's all it is. You want to get in the game.
You know, I know it's early. It's episode 1, and we're only, you know, we're barely 15 minutes in. But what's the message then? You know, what's the message if people come to you? First of all, I think it's great that you're doing this, because people don't know that, you know, Sinbad's a tech head. You know, the world's got to know. But what's the message that?
Well, man, I'm 63 now, man. Jesus, they don't know by now. I'm almost dead. Y'all need to figure this stuff out, dude.
That's what I'm just here to spread the message. You know, I'm a missionary. I'm a missionary. But
amen.
What's the message? What do you tell, you know, a 16-year-old kid? He's a sophomore in high school, and he finds out that you're making films, that you're going out, you're doing your own thing. You're not just doing comedy on the weekends. You're making content What's the message that
Yeah.
you give to that person? What do you want to tell them for their career?
Here's the funny part. I don't think they want us to tell them anything. I think they're trying to tell us. I think a kid 16 already knows. A kid that's 16 that's trying to get in the game and doesn't know about the technology and doesn't know that there are other ways to do it, he's behind the curve. There's so much information out there, so many places to be educated, so many online classes and courses. I think the ones that need to be open are people my age. My age is to listen to young kids. Well, what I do is they tell me what can be done. I said, well, look at this. Because I do a lot. I'm a tech head, so I'm always researching. I love research and stuff. So sometimes I help young cats with, hey, man, there's another way. And they might have thought, and when it comes to me, they go, how did you know that? I said, because my dad taught me you should never stop learning. You should go to your grave. Your reach should always be longer than your grasp. You should never know everything. That's a boring life.
What's your favorite piece of technology right now? Is it the Blackmagic camera? Is that it? Are you staring at
For
it?
cameras,
right now?
yes. But see, I have categories. I have categories. You know what I found? I found the first Blackmagic, the first pocket cam. I found it was still in a box.
I wouldn't suggest you use it, but it's.
I'm going to use it for no reason. I'm going to use it for no reason whatsoever.
I remember that
just
camera,
because I have it.
Man, I remember that camera. We shot. When they first came out, they didn't have the best reputation.
Yeah.
We were on a shoot down in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
And we had to shoot like a scene in a bar at night. It was a live thing, and we wanted to hire local camera operators down in Austin, and the only guys we could find had those cameras. And we had heard all the rumors. We were using Canons, and we're like, all right. Well, meanwhile, they came in, and the footage looked way better than the Canon stuff at the time. I mean, even though they were supposed
It messed you up, right? It messed you up.
Yeah, even though they were supposedly bad in low light and all this stuff, I mean, the stuff looked so. It was
Yep.
so. It was like it had almost like a clean video look to it. It was easy to grade. The color information was all there. Blackmagic's kind of killing it.
Man, they now they're beyond. I mean, with Da Vinci and everything, I don't see anybody doesn't like. There's some people like fighting about how great LeBron is. I just shut you down. After a while, you don't know how great they are. I ain't got time for you. I ain't got time for you. You don't know what Blackmagic is. I ain't got time for you. When we say favorite technology, some of my a Fender Acoustasonic Telecaster, which is half acoustic guitar and half electric. Dude, I've never heard anything like this. It has 5 different acoustic sounds. It has 3 different electric sounds. It makes no sense. I don't know how Fender did it. There's a bass guitar, and Nathan East better share it. They made a travel bass because Nathan's shoulder's a little bit bad. That's one of the nastiest bass guitars I've seen. I like the modeling amps for guitar. Without using a real amp, you can just plug your guitar direct into a box. I'm like this. Nobody carries a bunch of, like I say, if they can't go to the backpack, nobody's carrying a bunch of guitar pedals. And if you got to carry it yourself, nobody is. So you're looking, how can I get more bang for my buck? So my best favorite technology, what can do 2 or 3 things at once? What app can do 2 or 3 things at once? What guitar can do 2 or 3 things at once? What camera can do 2 or 3 things at once?
So, all right. So you've already hit us now with the cameras, with the music. How many trade shows are you at? I mean, what are you? You're at NAMM, CES, NAB. I mean, how many trade shows are you hitting a year?
Yes. And streaming. The streaming con. I go to other streaming shows. But you know what? The streaming people, there's these companies that want to make a lot of money off you streaming. I keep saying, like let's face it, what's it? Live stream. Live stream had the foot in the game, but they wanted to charge so much money. So they came out with the Mevo camera. The smartest thing they did was, I like that Mevo camera. I like the Mevo camera. It's a great camera to use, and the way that you can edit one camera with all these different shots, it looks like you got 2 or 3 cameras. But what they were charging for their service, I think, is what hurt them.
Yeah, it's interesting because their pricing model went through a lot. It's funny. I was the first one that bought that Mevo, man. The first email I got, I was like, I'm going to be able to put this into my live stream workflow. Meanwhile, if I'm being honest, I bought it. I took it out of the box. I turned it on. I was like, oh, this is cool. And I made the little boxes, and I pressed the buttons. And I never once used it for an actual live stream. And then I sold it to a woman for her church or something like that. I met her at a Starbucks.
I've got 2 of them. I had the original. I got that one and the Plus, and I like it. I travel one. I got one always set up here at the house, But it was limited because it was limited using their service. I said, if you could go out to YouTube and Twitter and going out to Instagram, if I could do all those things with it, then and Facebook, it'd be great. But they are so proprietary, where they hurt themselves is being proprietary.
Well, they're an interesting, that's an interesting example, and I think that comes up a lot in technology because Livestream had their own company, and then they got bought out by Vimeo. Everybody knows Vimeo.
Yeah.
They actually have a live service too, and when you spoke to people there, what they essentially said is Vimeo wanted to get into live, and they didn't really know how to do it, so they went out and acquired the company.
They just wanted to be there.
That knew live better than anybody. Live
didn't know how to do it either.
Right.
They didn't know. they didn't do it right either.
And now what has happened is there's this merger, and they're trying to kind of figure out where each company lives. But now you can't even get a live stream account anymore because they start at about $15,000 a year. You have to be in. You have to be in an upper echelon corporate business.
You have to be on crack. You have to be on crack. Even if you're on corporate, you gotta be on crack.
It's funny you say that because right now, full disclosure, if I could turn the camera around, we're using Livestream Studio right now for this podcast, but it's not. But it's not through Livestream. I have a Vimeo account, and with Vimeo Live, they give you access to Livestream Studio.
Smart.
So now you're down at $75 a month. It's much more manageable, but it's just a weird business model because now you're using live streams. So now they're kind of giving away the software with a pretty base account level. But at the end of the day,
they're still trying to figure it out. Dude, they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out what did we do wrong. We can't charge this amount of money because I say if you're going to keep the independent guy out, if you're just going after corporate thing, you're going to die.
Yeah, and we
you're going to die.
Carden Dickerson's checking in on Facebook. Kinfinity is something to watch out for too. Yeah, I mean they're making crazy cameras. These independent.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that independent companies would be able to come out with a camera? To have enough money for R&D to make a sensor. I believe they have an 8K camera. I mean that's kind of wild from an independent company. Philip Bloom loves their stuff. He's always making videos on their stuff. I'm trying to think what other independent companies have kind of just said here we are versus sort of the old school Zeiss and Canon and these institutions that have been around for 100 plus years making glass, making cameras.
But they were independent. See, they earned their way. Canon was smart because Canon said, "Look, let's come up with some cameras. Those prosumer cameras. They were smart. Zeiss makes lenses that you can afford. If you want Zeiss lenses, we know they're the cat daddy of lenses. But if you don't have a lot of money, can't get it, they said, well, how can we get those a lens that they can use? It's like a Steadicam. Came up with a way. Well, Tiffin now came up with some stabilizers that you can afford.
Well, stabilizers is crazy because, and you and I have talked about this before. You had Steadicam out since the 60s, 70s, and that was an amazing product, right? The Steadicam was revolutionary. It allowed you to take a camera,
change the world,
put it on a gimbal, walk around, and you have these incredible moving shots. But it was only on the Hollywood level, and over time, the cost of a Steadicam came down a little bit. They ended up making a consumer model that was about, I say consumer model, it was $4,000. I mean, $4,000 to move a camera's a lot of money if you're a college kid or whatever. But
dude,
I mean this
80,000, 100,000.
This isn't. I'm not talking about centuries ago. I'm talking about like 6 years ago. And then this. Then this thing called the Movi comes out. What's this thing?
Yeah.
And I mean that thing took the world by storm. They called it the game changer. Now everything's a game changer. But that was like the first game changer. And
game changer. Everything's changing.
Right. It wasn't cheap. It was kind of expensive, but it was a totally different type of stabilization. It was electronic stabilization.
Yeah.
They put motors on a stabilizer and they gave it a brain and they said, all right, keep a horizon. And that basic concept opened the door. You go to NAB today and it's not that there's a stabilizer company. There's a stabilizer like hall, like an entire area of a hall.
Dude,
there's just company.
Then the Chinese have their stabilizers, which if when they leave NAM, you can't. I mean NAB, you ain't gonna see them again. but they have their stabilizers. You can walk out with so many stabilizers that you don't even need to walk. Your stabilizer will carry you to the car because your stabilizers have stabilized your body and your high blood pressure and your diabetes.
I don't know how you're getting to the car, but I didn't see the free ride. By the way, they should put that on a drone. Just pop the drone up. You grab onto like two props, and they just fly you out of the hall. Because there's a lot of walking at NAB. And,
next year.
And drones are another cool thing. I remember I went to Photo Plus.
Yes.
I went to Photo Plus in New York. I don't know. This has to be 6 years ago or 7 years ago at this point. And Photo Plus was primarily. First of all, it's primarily for photographers. Second of all, it was primarily for people in like the wedding and event industry. But it was in New York. It was local, so I went. And there's a guy standing in the corner, and he has this drone. And because I'm a crazy psychotic tech head, I was so attracted to this drone. Like, oh, you could fly a camera, and it had a built-in camera, and the guy was charging $500. Now, my partner Brian and I were like, we have to add this to our business. This is going to take us to the next level. So we bought this drone.
We're going to be rich.
Now, we crashed it on the first flight, on the very first flight, because they were not so easy to fly back then. I remember first it took us it took us weeks to get it off the ground because there was a trim control, and we didn't know how to trim it. And every time we take it off, it would like go like that, boom, like boom, just like fly sideways.
Pitch and yaw, brother.
And
pitch and yaw. You when you fly.
We finally got this thing up in the air, and it's like 300 feet up in the air, and then it's now what? And it seemed like, I want to call it the first flight, but I don't know. It couldn't have been more than 20 seconds where we crashed it into a schoolyard across the street. We were lucky to get it back, and that was the last time we ever flew it. But I'll tell you something. That guy was at the same show the next year with the next model. And then this company, DJI, who comes out of nowhere.
Destroyed everybody.
And it's
destroyed everybody.
With the Phantom. The Phantom 1 was the eye-opener. The Phantom 1 was anybody could fly this thing, and you're going to be able to get some
and it would come home. And if the battery died, and it would come home, and it would circle around you. They said they should have, the avatar was like this. Are you stupid? Do you have no ability? We have the drone for you. And they should have had that before. I got a drone. I got a drone for my son. Now, you know me. I had to push the limit. We're at home for Christmas. I said, Royce, let's fly it in the house. He's like, Dad, I don't think it's a good idea. I said, look, man, this is how we test it. We fly it in the house. Well, remember, that time the drone had to be calibrated. He had to take it outside so he could find out where it's at so he can get back home. Well, I ain't got time to calibrate. We're going to fly this in the house. Because what I was going to do to get him for Christmas, I was going to fly the drone down to him from upstairs. Well, Royce said, okay, Dad, I'll do it. That drone almost killed 5 people in our family. That drone tried to get outside. It tried to go outside the window. The blades came off. People were jumping around. I said, victory.
How long did your wife not talk to you after that? How long was the trip to the doghouse after the drone incident? I'm just,
Oh, man, you live with me. That's just another day living with a mad scientist. You live with a mad scientist.
Tuesday.
We must do the science projects.
That's just Tuesday. I remember when that drone came out, that Phantom 2, that was the game changer because that's when they first stabilized the camera.
It did.
And DJI is such an interesting company because now they're massive. They probably do billions of dollars of sales. But
stabilizer, hard drives, everything.
What's really cool is they don't get it right all the time either. And sometimes they might think they get it right, and then they realize they got it better like 3 months later, and they'll just release another product.
Yes.
The Phantom 2, there was the Phantom 2 that flew a GoPro. Then there was the Phantom 2 Vision, which flew their own camera. Then the Vision Plus, which flew a better camera. I think there were definitely 3. There might have been 4 Phantom 2s.
This was the one. This was the one that changed it. The 4. The Phantom 4 changed it.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been very lucky, because I'm that crazy guy that bought that $500 piece of garbage at Photo Plus. I've been lucky enough to kind of be ahead of the curve in the drone game, and with my pilot Dexter Kennedy, another shout out. I've gotten to fly on movie sets. I've gotten to fly Alexas on big big drones, and it's crazy when you have $100,000 in the air. That's a little bit nerve wracking. And I'm not gonna.
But it's not your camera, right?
Never my personal camera. But I've been responsible.
Yeah,
for
it ain't your camera. It ain't your camera. If the drone kills it, you sue the drone.
I'm not sue the drone. I'm not gonna
Sue the
say.
drone.
I'm not gonna say that an Alta 6 didn't bounce off of Main Street with an Alexa on it one time. I'm not gonna confirm.
Hey man, you know what?
I'm not gonna.
The camera knew what was happening. The camera knew the chance it was taking when you put it on there. And the camera did not say, don't use me.
But I will tell you what's crazy, though. Even 2 years ago, we were doing a lot of work with these heavy lift drones. 6 rotor copters, Alexas. Most of the feature work was with that stuff. And that's big rig stuff. That's pretty high level work. But the DJI Inspire 2 came out a few years ago.
Yes.
And then they made this camera system, this X7 camera system. Well, first of all, you want to talk about companies acquiring. We talked about now how Livestream and Vimeo acquired Vimeo acquired Livestream, and they just haven't figured it out. Well, DJI said, okay, we make the most kick-ass drones in the industry, and we've kind of figured out this stabilization thing. But at the end of the day, people are buying our drones to make images out of them. And they went out and bought Hasselblad.
Thank you.
They went out and bought an institution of images that has been around also for probably close to 100 years and said, we're going to acquire your technology and we're going to put your technology on our drones. And they have these drones, man, interchangeable lenses, different focal lengths, shoot 6K RAW on a drone.
There you go.
And 2 years ago, we were 2 years ago we were flying Alexas. Today, you come to set, and most of the jobs are with an Inspire because it's,
you don't need the Alexa. Dude, you don't need the Alexa.
Yeah, the DP goes,
that's what changed.
It's gonna, and for them, it's not about the money; it's about the cost because they call you
and
up.
because it works. It works.
Yeah, they call you up and they say, "All right, well, what does it cost for me to fly an Inspire?" Oh, well, it's this many thousand a day. Oh, well, what does it cost to fly that heavy lift with the Alexa on it? Oh, it's 2.5 times the price. I'll take the Inspire. It's fine. It's 6K. And that's we're talking major motion pictures. We're not talking student.
Hey, how about this, man?
We're not talking student films.
I'm doing the first reality show where my friend is a drone. I'm gonna walk everywhere I go. I'm gonna have my drones will be in the car with me. It's gonna be in the house with me flying, and my whole life will be droned. It'll be a new word called droned, and that word is been copyrighted by me. Droned. So this drone will go with me. We go to people's house. My drone will be behind me. I will do interviews with people as the drone comes in their house. Now, some people might trip on a drone coming in the house, but you know what? They'll just have to trip. If you want to be on the show, that's how it works.
Now, so you just gave it out. You just gave it out to the whole. I hope everything's filed in the copyright.
World can't do it. The world can't do it like me. The world can't do it. No one else can do it but me. People will try, and because this is what they want me to do. This is the first thing Hollywood want me to do. Well, instead of flying the drone, can you just hold the drone and act like it's flying? I said, you know what? That's why you have no vision. Yes, the drone might hit a child. The drone might hit a dog in that house. Yes, a drone might take out a family member. But that's what we're going for.
That's like that new.
We're going for the realism.
That's like that new Holy Moly, that golf show. It's miniature golf.
That's dude.
Have you
people
seen
are dying.
Have you seen this?
Steph Curry almost got that woman killed on the first episode. That woman got hit by the windmill twice. Dude, I'm laughing. We're laughing at people's misfortune, man.
Do you think? Let me point blank. Does this show get a season 2? Does this show?
No. Somebody's dying. Somebody's dying. This is not supposed to go 2 seasons. This is a 1-season show. Let's pimp it for all it's worth.
I mean, I have a good friend who lives out in your neck of the woods. His name's Adam Contras. Has a mini golf course in his backyard that he built with his bare hands. Okay, and he has been trying for years to get a show on mini golf. Just different concepts. You could look them up. And And it's crazy that this is what actually makes the air. You know, it's mini golf, and you might die.
First is Steph Curry. First is Steph Curry. And if you watch American Ninja and all those shows, remember, my son and I talk about it, talk about getting back in the game, how to get in the game. My son, dude, it's not about your talent, Dad. It's never about your talent. We need to hit somebody with a drone and knock them off a fence, or Sinbad's drone crashed into somebody's car. I will be on TMZ. I will get a call from Hollywood and say, hey, man, when you get out of jail next week, we'd like you to come in and talk to us about a show idea.
Well, that is interesting. But see, and that's what's interesting too. You know, Steph Curry, he throws a couple bucks behind something, and now it's the next big thing. I mean, is that where television is headed?
Not headed. It's been there. It's not headed there. It's there.
Why do you think? Just had to go turn off some beeping. Why do you think it's like that? I mean, why have we gotten to a point where garbage is selling on television? You know, why have we gotten?
Because
to that
you know what? Once you give people the train wreck, you can't stop the train wreck. It started with Jackass, and then you had Flavor Flav, For the Love of Flavor Flav. Then we have For the Love of Ray J, and then you have the Kardashians. It starts with Kim Kardashian's sex tape, and then it becomes the Housewives of this city, the Housewives of that city. Is this hip hop? The crazier, know who gets the spinoff? The craziest family member. You don't get a spinoff because you were smart and went to college. In the first reality show was a real reality show about Ozzy Osbourne. That first year we were like this. Oh, Jesus Christ! I didn't want to see Ozzy that way. I don't want to see my rock stars broke down and crazy. Ozzy came off crazy. But the next year, man, Sharon lost 70 pounds? She had some surgery. People realized this show can take every one of us to the next level. It wasn't about the star anymore.
Yeah, and you know, reality TV, I mean, that was the Ozzy thing. Well, it goes back more than that because, you know, you had the Real World. I mean, all the way up through the 90s.
Yes.
You know, let's put a bunch of...
But there were no entertainers. There were no known people on that show. The Real World was just regular people. When they started using entertainers, going like, oh, he's a B actor. When entertainers allowed themselves to look stupid, I said, man, why would you destroy a career you used to have trying to do a show, you know, we'll just put some actors who used to act because they think they're going to get a movie, but people end up hating you. You end up getting a new group of people who hate you.
Is that why people will watch Celebrity Rehab and Celebrity Weight Loss?
Yes.
And Celebrity fill in the blanks? Celebrity anything? It doesn't even matter?
We used to want to love our celebrities. We used to love our celebrities. Now we love when celebrities fall down steps. Because now they're like, oh, see, he might have more money than me, but he's a junkie. We love watching celebrities fall. Because, matter of fact, the person hosting the show now is becoming bigger than the celebrity. It's strange. The peripheral people, like the TMZ people, those little people that sit in that room, the dumb people sit like this. So I understand that Justin Bieber was in the valley. Is that true, Sharon? They think they're the stars.
You know, it's funny because, I mean, I don't know if I should be saying this publicly, but I'm a junkie for The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. I didn't watch for years. You know, I stayed clear.
Stop.
No.
Stop.
No, I didn't.
Stop.
Let me tell you something.
Stop. Just stop. Just stop, man.
I didn't do it.
I want you to stop.
I didn't do it. I didn't watch not one time. And it was by accident. Last season, it was opening night. I mean, it had to be opening night. And they bring on this NFL player who I think maybe probably took like a snap in the NFL. And and this was, you couldn't turn it off. I mean, this was the worst train wreck you've ever seen in your entire life. And I haven't missed an episode. I mean, it is.
Okay. I got something for you. My family got me addicted to Married at First Sight. I couldn't wait for the season to start. It's about people who've never met each other and they get married.
Have we seen that?
You make it through. You got to watch the show. You get married. The first time you see him is the wedding. No, this one, the first time you see him, it's when you're getting married. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they look like. And then you're together for 8 weeks, and you decide you want to get divorced or stay together. There are more serial killers on this show. This show is the #1 show in the air with serial killers.
And you know, the other thing is true crime. I mean, how many true crime shows do we have? And you can't turn those off. I mean, Making a Murderer is obviously, you know, that's where it started. But do you remember the buzz that show created? Like, hey, there's this documentary that they've been filming for the last 15 years about this crazy guy who from an auto salvage place, and he was wrongly convicted, and now he killed somebody else. And
we still don't know. I still don't know. I'm on his side, though. I'm on his side. I think the city did him wrong. I'm on his side.
I want to love Stephen Avery. I want to love Stephen Avery, but
I'm on his side.
I don't know.
He's been through too much. Even if he murdered those people,
let him out.
He's been through enough.
He's done his time.
He's been. How about the new one, Aziz? What's the one Royce about? The kid in high school. They think he killed his girlfriend.
Adnan?
He's been locked up, but now they're trying to get him out. Adnan. He's that's what I'm watching now.
I mean, there's the little girl in London, and that show, the girl's gone 15 years. They don't even know what happened to her, and it's just Maddie is her name, and you're just like, oh well, that's not really
what.
That's not really. There's no gratification watching this. But you turn on Netflix and you go through. I mean, there's a gajillion true crime shows because we can't turn this stuff off. The reason I actually brought up The Bachelor was to talk about Chris Harrison, the guy who hosts that show. He's more famous now than anybody on it. He's been there every season.
Yes.
The guy. First of all, it's wild. I mean, you never see this guy. His only job. This is a job for you. Let me tell you something. All you have to do is come on, and you say, Hannah. This is your final rose of the evening. How much do you think he gets paid for that? It's got to be 7 figures. He's got to be making 7 figures to hand off a rose.
Yeah, they won't hire me. They won't hire me for that because I'll be like this. You gonna marry this clown? Really? You've been here for 8 weeks, and this the best you can do? See, they won't hire me for that show because I will bust your chops. I'm sorry, I couldn't just sit there and go like, well, make your choice. I mean, he'll probably end up killing you, but I want you to make your own choice.
And they all get married. It's crazy. The last season, the guy hops over the fence and he disappears. I mean, this is must-watch television.
I know.
The guy's gone. Yeah, of course you know. You watch the same thing too. You're putting your hand up in front of the camera. You watch the same thing.
No, I watched it. I watched it. That's the highlights you watched it in the night. They give you the run on everything that happened. I watched that stuff.
By the way, all these shows, you can't watch them live because the commercials. I think that show's 2 hours. It's probably like an hour and 10 minutes of commercials. It's crazy.
Dude, we don't watch Married at First Sight unless we watch the on-demand one. I'm not going through every time somebody breathes and we'll be right back. I'm not going through every time somebody about to get killed and we'll be right back. I'm not doing that.
My Facebook feed blew up last week because right in the middle of The Bachelorette, right in the middle of the season, they did a recap show in the middle of the season where Chris Harrison sits down with The Bachelorette and they talked for like 40 minutes. So what do you think of this one? What do you think of that one? Like, I don't want to know what give me the action. Like, what? How you having a recap show?
They did that on the Mary show. They just forced that recap show on you,
right in the middle.
And nobody wanted that show.
Right in the middle.
Nobody wanted that show.
Who does that?
We already watched it. We're already junkies. Why would you give junkies more Chris meth? Let us get to the new hit. Get us to the new hit.
So speaking of which, to change gears, so what we're gonna do on this show, all right, we're gonna try to give out the crystal meth a little bit. We're gonna have some crazy guests on here.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna have some. Now I got a surprise guest next week. It won't be a surprise to you, but it's a surprise to everybody else. Director friend of mine doing some really cool stuff, and it's cool because he's been coming up. He's one of these young guys who's kind of come up in this digital era where things have been cheap and accessible, but been able to have the opportunity to work on more higher budget projects. And it's, where do you spend the money?
Cool.
Where do you not spend the money? Where do you just get it done? Where does that line of creativity come in? Because I think that's what's key. That's what I hope that we can give people is to say, look, we know a lot about gear. Gear is great, but we've been sitting here laughing hysterically at The Bachelor. Now they shoot that thing on big old cameras, but it doesn't. That's not.
But let me help you. Let me help you with this. When we did our reality show, And I said, this is done. I was just doing a reality show to get my kids paid. I said, I ain't telling the truth about nothing. But what got me was, I'm watching all this gear. I said, man, hey, we could shoot this. I said, man, let my son shoot this. And he looked at me, I was crazy. So my son, we can shoot this with little cameras. Nobody will know we're in the building. We can shoot this stuff. Then I realized the reason they can't do it, they invested so much money in their Avid systems and the Pro 2 systems and the cameras. They're embarrassed that you can bring a smaller camera and get the same quality. Because he told me, well, we got to control quality. I said, control quality? You can't even control what's in your room. You can't even control the batteries. It took 97 batteries for us to shoot this scene in the living room. You can't even control that. How you going to control the quality, man?
Well,
let's make it look like a real family.
And that's what's funny, because do you think that a single person who's watching 90 Day Fiancé is going, I got to tell you, the depth of field on that shot, really, it wasn't shallow enough. There wasn't enough bokeh in that scenic shot in the open.
That anal dude that gets mad because his comic book wasn't done right as a movie, he's the one that's doing that. I'm sorry, Bryce. My son takes the comic books real serious. If they mess the movie up, he gets upset. He gets upset.
All right.
Yeah, he gets upset.
Poor Royce just got thrown right under the bus. I'm surprised the camera hasn't gone off yet.
No, it's not just him. It's not just him. Byron, my daughter's boyfriend, he's worse than Royce. He will sit in the movie and say, nope, he'll be talking the movie. Nope. That's not even the right character. I said, man, if you don't stop.
And how about
he leaves the movie depressed?
And this could be we could do a whole show. This would be a good topic. I'm gonna write this one down. There are these websites for all the classic movies, the Star Wars, the Back to the Future,
yes.
And it'll just be lists of mistakes. Or, somebody will find, like, if it's a period piece that was shot in the 1800s, and some grip accidentally left something on set, and it's like a modern thing, and it's like a little speck, and somebody's circling it, and they post it online.
Who saw the Starbucks cup?
Yeah,
the Starbucks cup on Game of Thrones. I was so busy digging. I was just digging Game of Thrones. And somebody said, "It's a Starbucks cup," and then it became the biggest controversy.
It broke the internet.
Yes, it did.
A Starbucks cup, and I mean, you've been on set.
And we still don't know if that's real. We still don't know if they mess people. You can't tell me. You get all these people who said, dude, I shoot movies. You can't tell me all these takes, maybe in one take. You can't tell me in 8 takes. She's taking sips and putting it back down. And somebody say, hey, man, you might want to move that and put your grog there.
But that's the thing. Like, somebody did it on purpose. It wasn't like the Game of Thrones brass that decided to hide a Starbucks cup on set. Somebody did it on purpose, But it's like
somebody did it on purpose.
I mean, and a show that people are so passionate about and care so much about the content and what's going on. I mean, with the series finale. By the way, I'm not a Game of Thrones guy, but the series finale, people lost their minds.
We're not going to do that. We already did that. We already did that on our
That's right.
podcast.
Check out Blurred Empire, by the way. If you're not following, you need to follow that.
You want to see somebody pissed? Yeah, you want to see some pissed off people? Come follow us on Blurred Empire.
Episode 5, 6, somewhere in there. Royce probably knows off top.
What episode are we on now, Royce? 5 on Blurred Empire. We got another one coming. We had to calm down. We were so irate. We were doing 2-hour podcasts. So we have to calm down.
I mean, I got a flight to Houston in the morning. I might miss my flight if we go another hour. But
I know, man.
But that's the thing. A show like that, people care so much about the content, about what happens in the show, yet they lose their mind because there's a Starbucks cup in the scene. Like,
well, no, it wasn't a Starbucks cup. We were mad at that. Why would you give us these last 2 suck episodes? Forget the Starbucks. You can have McDonald's and a Burger King sandwich. I will forgive you. But you gave us these 2 suck episodes. And then you had the dudes doing the Game of Thrones talk where they were sitting the two producers. We thought we would do something different than the book. Although the book was great, we think we're greater. And I'm like, and dude, he was at my doctor's office. He was at my throat doctor's office. And I couldn't say anything to him because I was going to say the wrong thing. So when they introduced him to me, I already knew who he was. I said, hey, man. I didn't even say I watched the show because I don't want to get into it. I said, hey, man. And you see what it was? I see I almost punched him in his face. So I had to let it go. Plus I had a sinus infection, and that it could have caused all kind of complications.
Yeah, you don't want to get arrested. I mean, because then you won't get that taken. It's just not worth it. But and this happens all the time with these big cult shows that have these big cult followings.
Yeah.
Most people usually hate the endings to almost all of these shows. You could probably name 5 shows ever that were universally, that thing, they really tied a ribbon on it. Because it always goes 2 seasons too
Breaking
long,
Bad.
2 showrunners
They
too
broke
many.
Breaking Bad right.
That was a good one.
Breaking Bad ended right.
Sopranos. People.
We don't know if that was good or bad. We don't know what that. We don't really know. Look, if you're gonna have blood and guts for all those episodes, kill him. Just put his head in a box. Give us the death.
Well, see,
or let him get away. Let the family get away.
Well, the problem there is they're probably thinking movie. It's like, well, we're gonna do a movie. Yeah. Meanwhile, the poor guy died anyway. So, and they're making a movie anyway.
Well, they're doing a prequel. No, they're doing a prequel
with his kid.
They bring Sopranos back, and they're doing the young. Yeah, they're doing the young. Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't even matter. I'm trying. I really can't think of a show that Breaking Bad's a good one, but I can't think of a show that people just love.
What other show ended right? What other show ended right? Friends.
That's a good
Friends.
one. That's a good one.
Friends ended right.
Although I was very young when Friends ended, and even at a very young age, I was angry at how much money those guys were making per episode. I mean, it was just wild. They all got like $1 million a show that last season. That was crazy.
Yeah, it should have bothered you.
Yeah.
It wasn't that crazy. Jerry Seinfeld, all them cats are making crazy money, man.
It was Seinfeld.
And they got percentage of production. Yes.
See, that's the difference between Seinfeld and Friends. Because we're talking about the same era, more or less. And Seinfeld today, you could watch it, and the fact that it's old, and this ties right into what we're doing right here. The fact that the cameras are old, and the sets are old, and the costumes are, plucked right out of the 90s, it doesn't even matter because the content is so good. Friends looks silly.
Content is king.
Friends just looks
content is king.
Silly. You got Rachel with the haircut and the, it just.
And you can't do that now.
No.
You can't do that. You can't make it. But think about it this way: when my kids started watching old shows like Bewitched and stuff on Nickelodeon, what's it? Nick at Night? What was it?
Yeah.
The show y'all would watch all the old shows. Like they were watching the shows I watched. I said, my kids and Black and City kids were laughing at the shows that we watched growing up. I said, that means something. That means something that these shows I watch affected my kids the same way.
That's the truth. Because that's not going to translate. I think today studios are so hungry for content, and they have. Listen, it's the landscape, and creators have more of an opportunity than ever. You have these independent films winning Oscars. I mean, it's great.
Yes.
What's going on? Podcasts, right? I mean, how many podcasts are you doing right now? What do you got going? You got this one.
We're doing.
You got at least 3.
I got this one. We got 3 podcasts. We're going to try to do 25 podcasts this year. We are planning to do 25.
Now that's not episodes. That's 25 different podcasts.
Different podcasts. Because my agent said, Sinbad, I said, look, man, we got to do some more movies. I think if you start a podcast. I said, so are you trying to tell me if I start a podcast, you can help me get a movie? So I want to do a podcast called Kill My Agent.
What guests are you going to have on? Just a bunch of actors who've been wrong.
Agents.
Oh,
just a
agents.
Just a bunch of actors and agents.
The agents.
And why we don't like you.
So I think you do like alternating weeks. So one week you have an actor talk about how he wants to kill his agent. The next week you have that agent on and he can beg for his life.
Yeah, I know.
And then you could.
He doesn't like you. No, we're best friends.
Then you have like a live voting thing, like it's American Idol, and we see who gets axed off.
Like, should he stay with his agent? Should he stay with his agent or go with that new agent? So we have the agent he was with, and now a new agent that wants him. And who should he go with?
The content is endless, and that's what we're going to do.
It is, bro.
That is what we're going to do on this show. We're going to bring on creatives, talk to them about their process, what they're doing. We're going to bring on gear manufacturers and see if they know what the hell they're talking about, because
thank you.
I think, that's a real thing. I mean, that's a real problem. I think as the consumer, you just assume that this stuff comes out and this gear comes out, it must be good. They made it. You know, it says.
Or it gets used in ways. Or it gets used in ways they expect. Like Ableton. We got to bring the cats on from Ableton Live for music. And then I can bring on some cats who are pushing Ableton in ways. Because I'm taking Ableton classes now. Because it was made for DJs. But now it's the weapon of choice for making music and running your live show. And even the people who made the software had no idea that this is what people can use it for. I love when people put something out there and they go, hey man, look what I made for you. And people say, no, that's not what's good for. I'll show you what's good for. And they go like, what?
That's what's cool. I mean,
and all of a sudden it finds its own market.
That goes back to just, you know, in video, the non-linear editors. It's, look, we'll give you the tool. We'll let you put your video here, and you can put your sound here, and go do what you will. And you go on Facebook, you go on wherever, and there are wars, there are battles. No, I like Premiere. No, I like Final Cut. No, I'm an Avid guy. And that ultimately
it's done.
It's just
it's done.
It's just a tool.
It's done.
It's just a tool. It's just a bucket. You know, they all work.
Those are the new game bangers. Those are the new game bangers. You got Android people want to fight the iPhone people to the point that Android people made a commercial where the guy walks past the iPhone line. I said, well, dude, isn't the whole point of this commercial that nobody wants to be in your line? That's why they bought the iPhones. Because everybody wants the iPhone.
It's like, wait a minute.
So they showed him walking across the street, and he's laughing at him. I said, well, dude, nobody wanted the phone you had. That's why you have no line.
What are you telling people, that nobody wants it and everybody's across the street? You know, it's funny. I never.
And it looked like the iPhone people. It's like they were jealous of him. He's walking across the street and they go like, "Oh, I wish I was that guy who wasn't standing in line and just going home."
And you know, I've seen that commercial. I'm sure everybody's listening has seen that commercial, and I never thought about it like that. I never really like dug into it and go, yeah, you know, that's kind of the messaging. Everybody wants an iPhone. Thanks, Android. We appreciate that.
And he's like this. I used to have one, but I didn't like the earpiece. So I got rid of it. And then everybody shares all the same technology. They're all just ripping off each other's technology, which I think is great, which I think is good for technology. Take the best. It's like music. Take the best. Sports. Take the best move from somebody and make it yours.
I mean, especially
everybody. Nobody's innovative over 6 weeks. Nobody's innovative over 6 weeks because somebody else has already grabbed your stuff.
That's true. That's true. But, and that I think is another piece that we're going to hit on a lot.
Yeah.
And you kind of said it before when you were talking about your drone show. You don't have to be worried that somebody's going to steal my idea. Somebody, you know, the true creatives, it always, the cream rises to the top. You know, it's always.
Or they won't put it out. I won't put it out yet. I said, dude, when you thought about it, it went into the universe. When you thought about it, it went to the universe. So be ready for your next one, dude. Or let somebody buy you. Don't fall. I see people, I'm just loving it. Man, sell that idea. If Apple wants to buy that thing for like $55 million, give it to them.
Sell it. You know, and I was talking to somebody. The other day, and we were comparing trade shows, like the trade shows that I go to and the trade shows that they have. And you know, I go to a lot of sales shows, and you know, they're nice and they have a motivational speaker. Well, this guy's in the tech space, and they have Madonna and Metallica. So.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
What's that telling you?
And you got a magician. You got Harry and this disappearing rabbits.
And they got Metallica in Giant Stadium. So I think the message here is, it is the technology, and that's what we're going to hit on. But you know, the creativity plays a huge role, and we're going to explore that and see where that line hits.
What you just said. I was at a Mac World. God, I miss Mac World. Because within the same 10 days would be Mac World, NAMM show, and NAB. Dude, I would take a gym bag with literature from one place, FedEx at home, go right to the other show, FedEx at home, and go right to the other show. You could kill all those shows at one time. But what a guy told me, I was at Mac World, and we're all sitting around, everybody going, what do you got? Well, I got this new one. Oh, I got this. What'd you get? Which one do you have? And you know what this cat said? He said, oh, I got the old one, but I shot 2 movies. And we all quit talking. I said, the guy said, you want to be a power user or a power creator? A power creator doesn't need the newest camera. He might go 2 generations down, 3 generations down. But the power maker will take, I can afford this. I can get this. I'll get that one day, but maybe by that one day there'll be something else. It won't matter because I can rent it. But the main thing is to get something done. And that's what I have to keep divorcing in my brain, because the tech side sometimes overwhelms my creative side because I want how to edit it, and I was going to take some animation classes, and I want to be a graphic artist. And somebody said, "Why don't you just hire somebody? Hire the people that do it."
Well, that's it. So we'll explore that more. It's tomorrow.
Yep.
It's tomorrow here on the East Coast. So final messages.
Me too. It's tomorrow here.
It's getting there. All right. So got to thank Royce behind the camera. I got to thank Andrea, who's
He said, "Thank you, Royce."
next to the camera over here on my right.
He said, "Welcome." He said, "Welcome." Hey, and thank you on the right.
There it is. And thank these guys right here, Live View, making all this technology
Oh yes,
possible.
we're gonna thank Live View, man.
And they make these great.
They gave me these bracelets.
See, and
Live View gave me these
you didn't get a
bracelets.
coffee mug. This is a great coffee mug. Look how big this is.
No, I don't drink. So they gave me a bracelet.
All right. Okay, that's fair. That's
They
a
gave me
blingy bracelet.
And they gave me this watch. Live View gave me this watch.
I gotta call my people over there. They gave you an Apple
And they gave me
Watch?
this cross. And Live View gave me and Live View gave me this cross.
You're gonna start a war. People are gonna be calling tomorrow morning. Why'd Sinbad get a cross? All right. We'll see you next week. We're signing off. Make sure you like and subscribe to this page. Make sure you're on iTunes.
Cool.
Make sure you're on Spotify. You can
Yes.
find it. Technically Funny. We're gonna get more technical.
But not the other ones. It's gotta look like us. It's the logo look like us because there's some other folks who technically are not funny, but they call themselves technically funny. But we are the main ones.
And you just brought that up. I gotta thank my sister Shira who made that logo. Killing it. And
Oh man, she killed that. She did the graphics. She killed it, man.
And of course, not only do we have to thank everyone who helped make this possible, but thank you for watching, for listening, for consuming.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week.